Brock. How are you? Good to meet you.
Good to meet you. Yeah, thanks for coming on Real Fridays. We had a little bit of a technical hang up here, but I know both Jeremy and Rick are on their way in here. But thanks for the patience.
No, 100%. No, great to be here. Thanks. Where are you based?
Right now I am in a barn in Maine, but I'm normally based in Boston.
Oh, okay. All right,
Yeah, what about
nice.
you?
I am in just south of Laguna Beach in Orange County.
Very
So
nice.
we,
Long way,
yeah, we,
long way away from
yeah,
here.
yeah. But how's the weather up there? Nice and cool?
Yeah, it's we had a couple really hot days here. But yeah, today's beautiful. It's like 80 degrees or whatever. But we were part of that heat wave on the East Coast where it was like 100 for a couple days. Or at least Boston was. I just got up to Maine last night.
Sounds pretty brutal, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't less than optimal, but yeah. While Jeremy and Rick are headed on here, I'd love to give you a chance to do a quick intro in your own words. I know we Potter gave us some background on the conversation you've had, but would love for anyone listening and for myself just to hear a little bit more about what you do.
Yeah, 100%. So I said to Jeremy the other week, I've been in mortgage for probably 20 years plus, but I've never ever originated a loan in my life. So started back in London, mortgage insurance, working for Genworth, doing pricing for Italy and Spain and Ireland and things like that. Um, and then the chief risk officer there, she actually moved across to Fannie. So I moved with her in 2011. So I did about 9 years at Fannie. Um, First half was in the sort of single family business pricing, customer engagement, things like that, and then the second half was in the back office doing an enterprise transformation in governance, risk, compliance. But I've always been a product guy, so I've always loved taking friction in systems and building new tools. And back in the early days, that was taking a spreadsheet into a database, and now it's leveraging AI to look at phone calls and conversations. So yeah, right now co-founded Mova a couple of years back. It's a great platform for complex call types. So with my mortgage background and the product, we've really found a great sort of confluence where the scale and complexity of the calls and sort of texts and emails that mortgage customers and their companies have, we're able to look at 100% of those calls, find out compliance, quality, and also sales skills. And then for those sales skills, we're able to take the sort of lower performers and train them based on what those higher performers are doing. So, for example, I'll give you one example, then I'll stop talking. But
No, it's
credit
perfect.
pulls. So, overcoming the credit pull objection from a consumer.
Mm-hmm.
There's a sort of an array of methods. There's an array of quality. There's an array of effort across your loan officer base. What we do, we stack rank everybody, and then we take those top sort of 5-10% of agents of LOs, understand the strategies that they use to overcome that objection, and then we marry that with the lower performers and say, look, well, you say it like this, the top performers do this. So if you were to alter your talk track and perhaps try these new techniques that the best are using, you might have more effort. And what we're starting to see now is that those lower performing agents, are stepping up, and they're understanding, okay, well, if I try this, and it's like an amazing cheat sheet for a new LO or an LO who's struggling. Oh, this is what they do. And it's sort of something you might not find on a traditional training on your onboarding. These are sales techniques that, again, are hidden in these calls, and you get to leave your top LOs producing and just automatically use their best practices to sort of help train everybody else. So yeah, no, super fun. And yeah, really powerful what we see so far. But so hopefully that gives you some insight.
No, that's super helpful. I'm familiar with some kind of, I guess, like maybe you'd say like vanilla versions of that product in the past, but blending it with the mortgage background and the very specific mortgage tasks and mortgage objections make a lot of sense. So how long have you guys been in market?
Yeah, so company's been going about 4 years. We really hit the market with the product about 2 years ago. And we are doing, I don't know, probably about ingesting maybe 100,000 calls, SMS and chats every single day. So what is that? Yeah, 2 million a month roughly.
Nice.
And yeah, and scaling, we some large customers, which is great. So it's really great at scale. But also we've got some customers with maybe 50, 100 LOs or agents, servicing agents that are seeing tremendous value as well.
Mhm.
And I think that the key is, to your point, right? Those other platforms, they're either keyword based or basic stuff, and then it's great. You get all this information, but then what do you do with it? Do I go and
Right.
hire 10 coaches? Well, no, you can't, right? So now with our auto coach, you get to replace or augment your coaches, so you can now, it's like a force multiplier. The coaches that are in place, they get to, all the research is done for them, not only who to coach but also what to coach them on. So yeah, it's but about 2 years in market, and yeah, growing all the time. So it's fun. It's fantastic.
No, that's great. Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of it's like building up the model, right? So you guys getting in the first X number of customers and millions of pieces of data probably is one of the hardest parts. And now you guys are probably have really tangible results to share. So that's awesome. Congrats on making it through those initial humps.
Yeah, and I mean, look, you're in a startup. It's a grind every single day, right? And but it's there isn't the rewards are there, but we to your point, models are great, the results are great, and yeah, now it's about sort of applying those to our new customers and beyond. But mortgage is one thing we do. We do banking as well. We do healthcare. So the platform's very flexible, very horizontal, but the vertical has certainly been mortgage as a focus so far. But
Nice.
yeah, real estate's next, I think, if we can find a good use case. So anyone out there who's recording calls and wants to understand how the best are winning and how to train the rest, that's what we're looking for next, as the next use case. So
Yeah, I have no doubt there's some there's some real estate ones. I've worked on some myself, but yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Not sure what is delaying our friend Jeremy, who I know had a bunch of questions he wanted to ask you on the show, but no worries. Yeah, I wanted to ask too. So, like, what are who do you sell through in the mortgage industry? Does this come from, do you get a VP of sales or training really excited about what it's going to do for their sales force? Is compliance the squeaky wheel where they, now get all this data they didn't have before? Hopefully it's like an all of the above, but is there like a red hot use case that that you see adoption with, or people pushing you into their mortgage orgs?
yeah, I mean, I think typically we go in at head of origination, that type of that persona.
Mhm.
What we in this environment, here's how I'd say. I think in this environment, we are there as a platform that can help generate more revenue. So you can, yes, also all the auto coach capabilities I've already mentioned, they are helping drive LO performance up, which obviously leads to increased revenue. The other thing we can do is we can spot nuanced sales leads in either servicing or sales data. So, if someone comes into the servicing help desk and, they're talking about, oh yeah, I'm going to be an empty nester next year, or my spouse wants to do a renovation. I'm looking at things. Those are all leads that we can pick up. So I think initially, and in this environment, where rates are where they are and margins are compressed, we are focused on revenue generation use cases. However, as part of the platform, there's nothing to stop our customers, and they are also looking at it for compliance. So they are now getting compliance and QA across 100% of their interactions as well. So yeah, it's both. But again, today it's we're going in through head of originations.
Yeah,
just
everyone
because we
likes
can.
everyone likes to talk about they're not
Yeah.
going to add things that don't have immediate revenue impact in this sort of a climate. So figured that applied, but the compliance use case is cool. Just getting or any of the really operational use cases of just getting more data, more confirmation of all the data throughout the transaction. Okay, cool. Yeah. How many I guess partners do you have? How many mortgage companies and maybe total companies too are using the product so far?
Yeah, so we're about, I think we're at 7 right now, but they're sort of top 5, top 10 customers in their space. So whether it's large services or large originators, we have, and again, that sort of large sort of call volume, you can probably guess who they are, or visit a website and you'll see some of them. But yes, so small, relatively small, relatively small number of customers, but the complexity of the organizations and the use cases behind them, and the scale of those conversations are massive. I mean, and we're sort of doing different things every day. So, we started off just phone calls, just switched on SMS for a particular customer. One of the banks we work with, they are doing oversight of a chat system. That chat system is either human to human chat or bot to human chat. And I think for us, where do we go next? We're going to be doing journeys. So where there's an interaction, you've got a phone call, an email, a text, and then another phone call, and putting all that together and sort of assessing the whole journey. I think that's huge, which we're setting up for. And then, I think more in servicing, more in underwriting, getting those use cases set up and stood up. I think it's going to be powerful. But yeah, it's been it's been an epic journey, and we look forward to continuing to scale. Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's really cool. Yeah. How would you compare? I guess a lot of it probably, I'm guessing a lot of it's just the mortgage background and the industry expertise that you and probably other folks on your team or advisors or whatever are plugging in up front, like specificity into the use cases. But how do you compare it to, like, I don't know, I've used like the platform Balto before. One of my friends is a co-founder over there. And they've kind of been, maybe a vanilla across all industries, like live sales coaching, live sales, advising. I don't know how they build it today. Coaching, I think. How do you compare to like a tool like that, where it's like completely industry agnostic and been out in market for a little bit longer?
Yeah, so we're definitely agnostic to industry, in the same way that other folks are. I think where we, to your point, yeah. So the mortgage background definitely helps. I think when you can talk the same talk, it not only helps in the sales cycle, but also in the customer success program. So, and I'll sort of give you an example. A friend of mine who we're working with, he described the acronym SaaS, not software as a service, but software and a service. And I think we've very much subscribed to that model. So we genuinely, and this is not definitely not a salesy thing, but we genuinely see ourselves as partners with our customers, right? I think being able to have that consultative approach and sort of suggest, well, look, either your model or you're using the platform to do these particular things. Look, we're seeing this over here helps others, and this is potentially a more useful thing to look at. Because a lot of people come to us and they say, do you do sentiment analysis? And we're like, of course we do, But what use is that, unless you can tie it directly to revenue, or tie it directly to compliance, or tie it directly to sort of an agent's ability to deal with an unhappy customer. So yes, every sentiment and it is table stakes. But if it's not tied directly to something that impacts your business objectives, then it's great to see on a chart that everybody is sort of either happy or getting happier on calls. But it's the edge cases around which agents are great at turning around those really unhappy customers, which agents are not great at that, and then can we coach them? And then the other things we see in the market, a lot of people ask, do we have voice AI? Do we have real-time assist? And again, where our niche is, Moga as a platform it's essentially a Swiss Army knife. It's very flexible, and the sort of depth and precision that you can get to on mortgage calls is I think is unmatched.
Yeah.
But real time, and I think one of our larger customers, their plan right now is with their sales team is they've got a distribution of agents. They want to level everybody up, and the ones who are not maybe fit for that job to become rock star salespeople, there's other roles for them. But they want to sort of bring everybody up and make all the rock stars. Now a rock star doesn't need a real-time assist. The way I'd sort of describe this on my sales calls, if someone's in my earpiece right now telling me what to say to you, Brock, I'm going to be distracted. Better that I'm trained to be amazing at my job, and that through the system and through training and through coaching and through data and through practice, I'm then not using a crutch like a real time, and I'm not being distracted on the call. So yeah, we sort of see
I have
ourselves
always
in a
thought about that. It's like as soon as it sounds unnatural, it's like with like a news anchor. As soon as someone's reading, it's like super awkward. As soon as someone's getting it's super awkward. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me as the right. I mean, maybe there's like little live ticks that you could give of where to steer something, but to try to script it live always seemed like at that point you might as well either use voice AI or
well,
something.
no, and I think you're exactly right, and I think it's exactly where we are. So for us, if you have a human who needs that real time coaching or real time prompting, then yes, it's definitely a type of call and a role that can be automated voice AI. Some fantastic voice AIs out there. But again, I think for Mova and some of our customers are building voice AIs for various different use cases. Where we will come in is we will observe, we will look at those calls, listen to those calls as well, make sure the voice AI is behaving, make sure it's performing, understanding where people are dropping out of containment and to go to speak to a human. So yeah, I think we fit nicely on top of voice AI, but real time, especially the complex calls that we do, like mortgage and banking and things and healthcare. It's not built. It's not, those calls are not ripe for real time assist, and for all the other reasons we just talked about.
No, that makes a ton of sense. Do you think looking for, just being so deep in the weeds of I'm sure it looks a lot like every other business in some ways, but a very technical business as AI technology is proliferating so fast, is there a part of either the tech stack or like the modeling that you've been really shocked by how fast it's moving, or how fast I mean, AI broadly, obviously proliferation is really fast right now. But I was at to give you an example of what some things I've heard from other companies recently. I was at LeadsCon a few months ago. What was that, a month ago maybe? Big lead gen conference, and what a lot of the companies, which a lot of them were like like AI enabled dialers, AI enabled outreach companies, so on and so forth. A lot of them were talking about their roadmap in days and weeks instead of months and years. And some of that's probably some sales fluff, some of that's probably some conference BS. But I have seen just how quickly companies are being built right now in the more technical, like voice AI for sure, but anything leveraging modeling and AI space. So are you guys seeing that, like your velocity is changing really fast with your ability to build new models or build new use cases or things like that?
Yeah, so I would agree that we do not have a 2026 roadmap. We have a 2025 roadmap, right? That is, it's full with great sort of ideas and feedback from clients as well. But yes, we are sort of, we may have a choice at some point. Do we go to voice AI ourselves? Do we, and so on? But no, I think that's absolutely right. I think the pace of development is extremely fast. How do you leverage those models to the best ability to drive? I think for us, drive outcomes at our customers. So yes, we're a .ai company. I think that moniker will erode. We'll lose that at some point, and we'll just become Mova. Because I was at a conference, the Mortgage Innovators Conference in Huntington a couple months ago, and one of the VC on stage, and he said, these days, the days of you have a .ai company and we give you a check for $1 million, those are gone, right? So now we are focused on, and this is what, as we've been from the beginning, how do you generate tangible ROI for your customers? So for me, AI is moving so fast. How do you capture that and put it in such a way into your system that your regular non-AI potentially non-AI proficient users can harness the power of those models, right? That's for us, that's the big challenge. Because you and I may know what an LLM is and what the latest and greatest in O3 Pro and all the things it does. And that's great, but how can you harness that for outcomes? That's the biggest challenge for us, I think.
And I really don't know that, so that's but no, I mean, I think that's a great way to think about it. All the text there, but how do you put it into originator's phone call today, you know, how do you put it into someone's CRM or wherever? I'm sure you guys can launch it in different ways, but no, that's super compelling. And sorry, we had some technical difficulties here. I think I heard you may have had a hard stop here in the next few minutes. So anything else you want to share at this point? We'll have to keep talking. I want to see if we have any use cases we can use at NewZip. We sit right between mortgage origination conversations and handoffs to real estate conversations. So maybe we can help you figure out the real estate go to market.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think that's right. I mean, the way I would think about sort of Mova is, you know, essentially you've got an army of really smart people who are listening and reading every single sort of call and interaction, and then synthesizing it and giving you those themes and trends, and then helping you train those lower performers on your best. So it's super powerful. Yeah. But no, I mean, I think for us, real estate's next. I think that's right. You know, push foot on the gas on in servicing. But for us, I think the main focus is how do we help level up those humans. This is not about, you know, replacing humans with bots. I think there's a space for that, like we've talked about in some use cases. But for us, again, these complex calls, people are always going to want to have a human. Well, not always, but certainly for the next several next years, people are still going to want to have a human to talk to with such a large transaction. So for us, it's how do we make those sales agents, whether it's an AE at a wholesaler or an LO at a, you know, direct to consumer, how do we make them the best they can be? That's our mission, and we're loving the journey so far. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on and sharing. We'll have to check back in with you and come back on and share some updates at some point in the future when Jeremy and Rick are able to pop on too. But I appreciate you coming on here today. Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks, Brock. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Happy Friday. See ya.